Welcome back. I am Karine, your main event MC. Thank you for staying with us throughout the day. We hope that you have enjoyed yourself and this community event, and we hope that you have gained some valuable insight, some knowledge, or even ideas to execute moving forward. We have now come to the very of tail end of the event, and I'd like to welcome Noel to give us a closing speech to wrap up for the day and to give us a nice closure. Over to you, Noel.
Thank you, Karin. Thank you. I love this statement a lot because I think there's so much element of security that we've covered across all the different tracks. And I think especially the cybersecurity track, the amount of security that's been covered is probably enough for a lifetime. But I think what Jesse says is so appropriate. Security is like oxygen. When you have it, you don't notice it. So it should be transparent. It should not be overbearing. It should not be difficult, right? It should not be like in a straight jacket. But when it's gone, you don't survive long. So I think it's important for us to keep that at the back of our mind in whatever that we do. And oh man, this is the same thing that happened to me earlier. Just let me quickly fix it. All right, I figured out what happened. All right, and it's not going to hit me again while I fix it. For some reason, this only happens when you copy stuff from one to the other. All right, so let me just, okay, that's good. Okay, all right. Now, one of the things that I've been teaching a whole group of people across the region is this thing called the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Now, why I'm doing this is because I feel that many people are searching for something that they can do that can hopefully tide them over till the time we exit out of this COVID-19. Now, whenever that is. And one of the important things to understand is the basic needs. Right at the bottom, we have the physiological needs, and then the layer above that is the safety needs. If we cover ourselves off with those two layers, like what this particular Malaysian company has done, we can't go wrong, right? The rubber glove industry definitely has thrived significantly, all right, during this period. Right? And 2 new billionaires have been made just this year alone. So it's exciting to know that amidst the dark clouds, we have a silver lining, if you want. And of course, many of us in Malaysia may have seen this article, right, that talks about how AirAsia is laying off or has already laid off 250 of their people, right? With the flight stopped, with country borders closed, with lives at risk, how could they continue to fly? But you know what? Smart people like Tony wasn't about to give up. So they launched this agriculture e-commerce platform called Our Farm, right? You could say that they're trying to be like an Alibaba for agriculture e-commerce. They could be, maybe they're building up a virtual farm network or just addressing basic needs. Regardless of what you're saying, I believe there is a tie-in between the two. All right, AirAsia laying off, feeling really inadequate in that situation because AirAsia has been one of the brand names, if you want, in the Malaysian economy that, much like Mydin, if you want, that has been building up incredibly over the last few years. But I think there's a relationship between the two, the laying off and the launching of the two. They want to rebuild. Now, this particular company, BYD Auto, was the largest electric vehicle company in China. Over a couple of months, they transformed themselves to become the largest medical mask manufacturer in the world. Now, in the same way, if you think about it, they have realized that they need to transform, all right? In all of those areas, with the rubber glove, we have Supermax fitting the safety needs. We have BYD Auto also coming in at the safety needs. And of course, we have AirAsia bringing together farmers and the ecosystem for e-commerce, agriculture, right? So that's of the physiological needs. So industries that caters for those two layers, if you want, I strongly believe is going to continue to thrive. So even as I was talking to Malik earlier, if we had more time, I wanted to ask him how much has his, if you want, food business, right? The vegetables, the fruits, the meats, and so forth grown, while the rest remains static, if you want, right? So these are some of the things that is important. So are businesses affected? Yes. In fact, Malik brought this up really, really aptly. Access to funds for cash flow. That's so important for every business today. So those of you who are not getting a raise, please don't feel bad because the companies are struggling, right? And many of them are struggling to even keep intact their supply chain. And of course, accessing applicants and data continue to be a struggle for many organizations. And that was also the reason why we decided to zoom in so much in the hybrid IT track on that aspect. But very importantly, we must go back to core competencies. We must continuously improve and of course transform like what BYD Auto did. And of course, creating awareness and marketing like what Malik and Maidin did for the nano virus buster, for example, and sharing that the media and so on, and constantly improving their environment, right? Improving the way they process their data and protecting their data and so forth, reducing the risk. I talked about cyber insurance. That's one of the ways that you can help reduce the risk of cyber threats and so forth. Of course, keep spending to a minimum. And in fact, Malik and I spend quite a lot of time covering that up too. And of course, as a business, we need to find ways to reduce cost of our goods and maintain profitability. All that put together, all right, this particular individual in this video, which I don't have time to go into detail, actually covers off. So when you get my deck, right, you'll get to see this, and I urge you to spend that 20 minutes that he goes through line by line, right, and get the most out of this. I believe you will be blessed. So one of the organizations that we are very proud of, all right, has actually gone down the path of focusing on their core competencies. I didn't want to just run through a list and say, oh, you should do this, you should do this, you should not do this, and so forth. But I wanted to bring relevant proof points, if you want, to show that even big companies like Grab needs to go back to their fundamentals. They need to go back and focus on their deliveries of people, deliveries of products and services. So these are important things. And as you can see, even in the second point that I highlighted, they need to be more focused. And I think, if anything, even Malik pointed that out, right? Go back to fundamentals, be more focused on what absolutely. And to end it off, I wanted to bring up this article by the Crow, right, on the Malaysian short-term economic recovery plan. And I'm sure every country that is listed in terms of the participants from, their country, their government will have come up with a similar kind of plan. I urge you, even as IT people, read a little bit about it. I know we might not understand everything, all right, and rightly so, because we also focus on IT. But I want you to be aware that IT people cannot live in a cocoon all by ourselves, as we would like to. All right, we need to understand that by knowing a little bit about what's happening and being able to latch on to it and guide our respective customers and stakeholders will help go a long way. And that's also how we came up with this event after a few months of planning, and finally we have come to this. So with the 3 tracks, I hope all of you enjoyed it. All right, please give us feedback, and I know the feedback form has really started going out. We want to know from you. All right, and of course, the insurance that I talked about, there are many companies now, so there are lots of choice, just like what Malik was saying. And do you want more of such events? All right, we don't want to do something that we feel or you feel that doesn't bring value. If you think these events are worth the time and effort, I want you to send a yes back to me. All right, you got my email, all right, or even my number for WhatsApp. So I'm going to show that to you again, right? And hopefully, if you do have the opportunity, all right, to reach out to me, my details are on the bottom left here, all right, and you can use your phone and grab the QR code, and that will take you to my LinkedIn profile, all right, and tell me that you liked the session, what you liked and what you did not like, because we also want to improve. If you want to do this again, we want to do it even better. for you. Okay, so that takes me to the end. Thank you so much for your time. All right, and of course, I wish you stay safe and see you again. Thank you. Back to you, MC. I don't hear you.
Thank you, Noel. I love how you tied in the Maslow hierarchy of needs together with business and operations. It was very, very inspiring actually to hear you speak and to hear about what you have to share. I can't wait to see the deck actually. All right, so now before we come to a close, I just have a few announcements to make, and that would be, we would greatly appreciate if you can help us to improve your experience by filling up the overall evaluation form. The moderators in each track will copy and paste the relevant link once again so that you can fill them up. If you enjoyed the session, please take a picture and upload and use the hashtags #WFH2020 and #Woods-Events. So for those who fill up the evaluation form, you will receive the link or the deck for the presentation slides for today. So once again, thank you for attending our Asia Pacific Virtual Conference Work From Home 2020. Special thanks to the host, my Ian Sendirian Berhad, the partners, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, Zimperium, Secudemy.com, Microsoft, Singularity, Mydin, Kapagam Technologies, Recorded Future, supported by CyberSecurity Malaysia, and the event organizers are Vega Edge Q-Drift and Woods Events. And we have the ecosystem partner, which is Kalam. Of course, a big thanks also to all our speakers for today who have given their time and contributed in terms of knowledge, insight, experience. So we have Gregor from HP Enterprise, Kevin Lim from Refine Networks, we have Kenny Chu from VSTECS, Thai Gap from SCC, Amanath from Microsoft India, Ming Shen from eGate Messaging Sendirian Berhad, Palvin from Shinjiru, Lieutenant Colonel Mustafa, who is retired from CyberSecurity Malaysia, Clement from Kapagam Technology Sendirian Berhad, and our pretty ladies Mira and Priyanka from Team Across APAC, Patchware, Zimperium, Amitabh Srivastava from Singularity, Litzkan Ali from Recorded Future, Panarith from the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications Cambodia, Murugesh Rao from My Cloud Jedi, John Kam from D Jungle People Sendirian Berhad. We had Edwin Chia from DXLC Sendirian Berhad, and Malik Murad Ali from Mydin Muhammad Holdings Berhad. Last but not the least, our very enthusiastic and energetic fitness coach, SH. Thank you all to participants, viewers. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence. May we all be well, happy, and at peace. Have a wonderful evening. See you at the next event. Take care.
Thank you.